Hey everyone, Molly and Katie here. Hope you all enjoyed our relaxing summer. We are here to go over the new PTP form for the upcoming school year. The new form is based on the pyramid lesson plan format. It is so much easier and shorter to complete. The slides will have some helpful hints, so feel free to stop anytime. Let's go ahead and break it down.
So the first section is the easiest. The first blank is going to be the learner's name. This is where you simply just put the student's name. The next box is the goal domain. This is where you will include the title of the need or domain. For example, communication, self-help, rec or leisure, community, socialization, academics, etc. The next section is the behavior objective. It is the goal directly taken from the IEP itself. Under current lesson status, you will choose one of the boxes: acquisition, fluency, or maintenance. Acquisition is a new skill being taught. Fluency is a skill the student is familiar with and is working to become more proficient in. Or maintenance is a skill that the student has mastered but is continuing to work on. Mastery criterion is the end goal taken directly from the IEP. This could be a percentage, successful trials, how many steps are in the task analysis, etc.
The next section we're going to look at is reinforcement. First, you need to look at your goal and determine when you will be reinforcing, either during the task or after. Not all of these boxes need to be filled in, and this is the section that I had the most difficulty in when I was making mine. So for example, a student requesting a break would be reinforced after the task of requesting. So we're not going to be filling anything out under the reinforcement during the task. We're going to be looking specifically at the social and tangible, and even closer at the natural versus additional. So first, looking at the social natural, these are things that happen naturally in a social situation. Examples would be when someone is initiating a conversation or a greeting and having that person respond to them. Looking at social additional, these are social things that we add to our lessons as reinforcement. Examples would be a high five, a way to go, nice job, those things that we do anyway. Moving on to the tangible natural, these are concrete things that are naturally occurring. For example, going back to the break, if a student is asking for a break, being able to escape the non-preferred task is the reinforcement. Looking at tangible additional, this is anything extra you add as reinforcement. For example, our tokens, edibles, or gaining access to an item. Next is the current rate or ratio. This is the ratio that the behavior is being reinforced initially when the goal is being taught. For example, 1 skill to 1 reinforcement. Again, only fill out what is necessary with the natural and the additional tangible and social. And then finally in this section, you're going to look at the goal rate or ratio. And this is the end ratio of how often the desired behavior is being reinforced.
Now we're going to dive into the generalization piece. First, we have stimulus factors. This describes a situation that the response learned occurs under a range of similar conditions. Some examples may include varying staff and trainers, vary activities presented to the learner, vary locations, time of day, etc. Next is response factors. This describes the act of making a different but similar response to the target goal. Some examples could include increasing independence, increasing the nearness of staff to student, shape the break into shorter amounts of time. Now we're going to look at types of lessons. So every lesson is either a sequential lesson or a discrete. If you're looking at a sequential lesson, if steps are essential, it's sequential. Some examples could be brushing teeth, folding laundry, washing their face, things that typically follow a task analysis. The next type of lesson is a discrete lesson. If it's short and sweet, it's discrete. Examples of a discrete lesson would be comprehension questions, addition problems, identifying a name, etc. Then comes the error correction procedure. We have back step and we have the 4-step procedure. The back step we use for sequential lessons. This would be taking a student back to where they were last successful. Be aware of doing this for known mistakes and use an anticipatory prompt instead to avoid letting them make the error. The next one is the 4-step. This is the model, prompt, practice, switch, and repeat. Use this for discrete lessons.
Next is this current stimulus control. This is under what condition does the response happen now? So going back to our break example, you could write that currently the student is fully prompted to ask for a break. A different example would be a student putting on their coat. Right now, the student does not do it independently, and the teacher needs to tell the student when to put on their coat. Then you have the long-term stimulus control. This is a natural cue that should come to control the new skill over time. So going back to the break, the student will now encounter an activity that will elicit a maladaptive behavior, and before that happens, they will independently ask for a break. Going along with the coat example, now that the student has learned how to put on their coat, they know that they're about to go outside and that they need to put on their coat. The next section is the teaching strategy. These are things like one-person versus two-person prompting, prompting strategies, the prompting hierarchy, natural cues, whole task versus partial task. Next are the lesson details. This is the description of what the lesson will look like when it's being taught. Here you'll list the materials used, need of a visual TA, covering the mirror, time of day, emphasis on switching roles, what environment is the skill worked on, is it a scheduled event, who's teaching the goal, what does the desired behavior look like, forward versus backward chaining, and prompt pauses. Then next are the two little easy sections. We have the data, and here you just put the frequency. So for example, 10 times a week. And then the type, where you're going to put if it's discrete, a time sample, an incidental trial.
At the bottom is a task analysis for your sequential lessons. Feel free to use this to gather any data. We also have attached an example of a completed discrete trial lesson as a reference. Feel free to contact us if you have any questions. Hope you guys all have a wonderful school year. Thank you. Bye.